Hello, everyone. Good evening or good morning, whenever you're watching this. I'm coming on live here on Facebook, my Facebook business page, to do the weekly energy reading. But if you're watching this on YouTube, it's Tuesday morning and you're watching it now. So if you want to catch these live or a little bit earlier, you're more than welcome to follow my Facebook business page and just follow it. The link to that is in the description of this video for you to go and do that. Otherwise, you can just subscribe to my YouTube channel and wait for these videos to be uploaded then for you to catch the weekly energy reading. But if this is your first time tuning into one of my videos and you don't know who I am, my name is Stef. I'm a psychic soul alignment coach, and what I do is I help people to do very deep levels of healing in order to align themselves with who they truly are so that they're able to create their greatest level of success in their lives and businesses. So that is how I help people. Every Monday, I do this weekly energy reading on my Facebook business page just to give people a bit of a heads up as to what to expect from the energy of the week so that they can navigate whatever shows up in life with much more ease and grace because they have that knowledge and awareness. Okay? So if you're watching this on Facebook, let me know you caught the replay and let's get into this reading. Hey Mark, how are you? Thank you for joining me. I can't read the comment so much, so I'm just going to go ahead into the thing right now, and then I'll answer any comments I might get at the end. But so when I tuned in to ask about the weekly energy reading, I kept hearing resisting, was clearing the resistance. That's what I kept hearing, and that this was going to be a main theme this week. I checked like a bunch of times already, and this is just the message I keep getting. So the reason for that is that there is going to be a lot of opportunities this week for you to recognize where you're resisting this new phase, this new opportunity, this next step, this new identity, this new way of being that has come up, that has shown up for you. That is the next step for you. Now, the reason for that is that we just recently went through this Lionsgate portal on August 8th, and the energy is still around at this time, so we're still moving through that energy. But prior to that, we were in this process of really letting go of old stuff, old ways of being, to step through this portal as new people. Now, we are in the process of becoming these new people. We are in the process of creating this new world, this new earth, these new structures, this new way of doing things. And so while we're stepping into that, though, while we're stepping into this new, sometimes there's resistance. There's resistance to change. And this is common in everyone and everywhere, where when people are just accustomed to things being a certain way, even if they're not fully happy with it, when a new opportunity or thing is presented, sometimes people resist that because they're just used to the old way of doing things. And a really great example of this that I want to share with you today is, for example, when we here in Peru, when we started having this new form of public transportation. Now, normal public transportation has a usual price range, but when this more government-run form of public transportation came to be, the rates were much higher than what people were used to, especially because you had to pay that flat rate no matter how far or how close you were going. And so some people were initially resistant to that because they were accustomed to paying less for their bus fare if it was like something within a short distance, and they felt like it was unfair or unjust to have to pay so much just to go just a few stops, or to go all the way to the last bus stop. Like, they didn't like this initially. There was resistance. People didn't like it, but this was what was needed. Was there needed to be a certain flat rate that was a bit elevated for normal bus standards, but this flat rate that was a bit higher would benefit everyone in the long run, no matter like what distance you travel. But initially people were resistant to it because they were used to things being a certain way and being a certain price and having just things run in a different manner, right? So people were outraged sometimes when they went from paying 50 cents for less than 10 blocks to having to pay $2.50 even if they went like less than 10 blocks. They felt resistant to that because they felt like they were getting ripped off. So even though that change was for the better in the long term, but people weren't able to see that. So the same kind of thing applies here, is that with going through this portal, with letting go a lot of the old, with stepping into more of who we truly are, stepping into new levels of our well-being, of our success, of our abundance, all these different things that we are in the process of aligning with, thanks to the help of the energy, and thanks to also us needing to show up differently in life. Sometimes there might be initial resistance there, because we've been so accustomed to doing it a certain way or being a certain way. And this is what's going to be being brought to your awareness this week, is noticing where the resistance is and stepping into your power around that, so that you can have an easier time transitioning into this new phase, new path, new stage, new identity, new level, new opportunities, whatever it is. And you can allow yourself to move forward in those ways with so much more ease and grace, because what they were explaining to me is that the only reason that you might experience bumps along the way this week, you might feel fear, worry, doubt, wanting to pull back, wanting to retreat, or things feel intense for you, that is all indications that you are resisting the change. That is all indications that you are resisting your power. You are resisting becoming more of who you truly are. You're resisting creating more of what you say you desire. You're resisting it. So it's an opportunity for you to then raise your awareness around that, to then be able to see what that's really about and do something about it, so that you can clear that initial resistance that's deep inside of you and be able to move forward more smoothly, more gracefully towards this new path, this new change in the direction of what you want, whatever it is. So really being able to do that for yourself. Does that make sense? And just noticing this week where the resistance is coming from, because the resistance is also showing up there because you're unconsciously holding on to the old. You're unconsciously holding on to your old ways of doing things, your old ways of being, your old stories, your old fears and doubts, the things that you just have been used to for so long, but you have to let that go. You have to let that go. So recognize this week where you're not letting go of those stories. Recognize this week where you're still holding on to the past. You're still holding on to things that make you feel heavy, that make you feel uncertain, fill you with doubt and fear. And really choosing to bring that to your awareness, to ask yourself, why are you still holding on? Is this really serving you? Why are you resisting feeling a different way? Why are you resisting feeling different, or believing different thoughts, or thinking different thoughts, of doing things differently, of showing up differently, of showing up more in your power, of moving in the direction of your desires? What is really going on there, and doing something about that so that it doesn't continue to create that resistance for you anymore, and you can still move forward in those ways in which you're feeling called to move forward in, more gracefully. Now, what else did they want me to say? They also wanted me to remind everyone that because this week is a week to transition into this new, since we're going into the portal, or through the portal, that it's like the energy is picking up a very fast pace, in a sense, and is pulling us into this all new world, this new reality, this new dimension, this new version of ourselves. The energy is really pulling us in this direction, and really, in a sense, like what they explained to me was, it was like we're being pulled by a train, and we are moving in this direction, whether we want to or not. We're moving in this direction. But when we're resisting the change, when we're resisting this new way forward, it's the equivalent to having obstacles show up on the train tracks as we're being pulled by the train. So here's the back of the train, here is a string or something, a cord that ties you to the train. And when you're resisting the changes, it's the equivalent to the train pulling you in this direction. So you're going to have to go on the train tracks anyway, but along the train tracks there's going to be like these obstacles, these things that show up, and when you're resisting, it's like you're hitting up against the obstacles, or the changes, the things that are showing up that are new, and you're hitting up against them, and it feels like a bumpy ride. That's where the fear gets triggered, the worry, the heaviness, the emotions, the stress, the sadness, whatever things, the resistance to doing things, the fear. That's where you're kind of hitting up against these things. Whereas if you take the time to really explore yourself and ask, okay, why is this feeling so heavy to me? Or why do I feel so overwhelmed by this? Or why am I so resistant to doing this new thing? Or why am I resistant to taking this next step? And when you really take that time to really ask yourself these things about why you are creating resistance to this, why it doesn't feel good to you, then you give yourself the opportunity to really explore yourself more deeply to see what that resistance is all about. And then when you do that, you can clear that. And then when you clear that, it's like those obstacles remove themselves from the train track, and you're able to continue to move forward down the path that the energy is taking you down into the new, into this new reality where you're more successful, more abundant, where you have more of your dream life, and you're able to move down that more smoothly with more ease and grace. Whereas if you're not taking the time this week to really ask yourself these questions and process and really bring to your awareness certain things you need to bring to your awareness, and you're not maybe making certain changes that you need to make in how you think, how you feel, how you believe, how you handle things, whatever it is, especially how you're moving yourself in the direction of your desires. If you're not making these changes, then it's like those obstacles stay on the train track and they just continue to build up for you. They continue to build up more resistance, more heaviness, more like pushback, or like, yeah, it's like, it's not pushback, what's the word? Drawback? I don't know, something like that. Like you're not moving forward, you're holding back, you're holding on to the old, you're holding on to the past, you're holding on to the fears, you're holding on to these things rather than make the time to sit there and understand, okay, what is this really all about? What is this trying to tell me? Where am I not embracing this change? Why am I not embracing this next step, this new opportunity, this new version of myself, or embracing creating more of what I want, and so on? Because this is different for everyone. The resistance is going to show up differently for everyone depending on where you're at in your journey, what you have going on, how this relates to you. This is like a general reading for everyone to really understand. And I usually address 2 different types of people, but this time, this is just for everyone. Everyone is feeling resistant on some level in different ways. And so just take this as it applies to you. But yeah, there are going to be opportunities this week for you to recognize where you are resistant to the new that we are now moving into, so that you can do something about that resistance and get with the program, because the new is here. So the faster that you bring yourself into alignment with that new stuff that is here, that is showing up, and you embrace it and you step into your power around that and you just own it, then you will have an easier time with this energy as it moves you forward. So some examples that I want to give you of myself, hey Valerie, thank you for joining me, is I always like to relate this to myself sometimes to really help you to understand, like, we're all going through this in our own ways. So one quick example that I have for you in regards to that is, me personally stepping into my power on greater levels and doing things in my life and my business that are in alignment with the vision I have for myself, for who I really am, and for how I want my life to be and my business to be. But with that greater vision comes greater opportunities, greater responsibilities, greater ways of doing things. And in the past, I used to overwhelm myself a lot, or allow myself to fall back into overwhelm or stress, because I felt like, oh my God, there's too many things going on. How am I going to handle this? And now we get so stressed out about it. And just repeat this kind of cycle of feeling like it was hard to breathe because I had so much going on. And so this time, with everything that's going on in my personal life and in my business and things I have going on and changes that I'm being asked to implement, that same kind of feeling came up for me again, where I was like, oh my God, like, I can't keep up with anything. That's how I feel sometimes. In the past, old stuff. So I would be like, oh my God, this is just too much. I can't catch a break. Like, these guys be giving me all these things to do, and like, how am I going to do this and all this other stuff? And I was starting to feel overwhelmed again. But I had to snap myself out of that, because I was feeling this overwhelm. And why was I feeling it? I was creating that. I was creating that inside of myself based on how I was interpreting things. I was giving meaning to them. I was just viewing them. And I had to snap myself out of that to really understand what that was really all about and to bring me into alignment with who I really am, this vision that I have for myself, who I have declared myself to be, and how I want my life to unfold, and to really shift out of that overwhelm energy and step back into my power and do things from that space rather than continue to fall into old ways. So that's one quick example that I have for you, right? That's me moving in the direction of what I say I want and choosing to take the time to notice why I am feeling that overwhelm, that heaviness, that stress, or whatever it is, to do something about that, and then still move forward in the direction of what I want, but from this space of more peace, more grace, more personal power, and moving myself in that direction so that doing those things becomes a smoother journey rather than continue to feel like the universe is just knocking me upside the head with one thing and another and another. And I'm just like, hello. So that is one example. Another example that I have for you real quick is that I'm implementing massive changes to my Facebook community. I've been channeling with my guides on this the last week. And recently, today as well, I was channeling with them earlier on this. And there's going to be massive changes done to my community to really make it what I want it to be, this grand vision that I have for it. However, with that being implemented, there are going to be certain things that are not allowed in my group anymore. And initially, I was feeling resistant to that because I had all these things going on inside of myself about how people might receive the changes, how that might negatively impact my group, all these different things. And that was me resistant to creating the kind of community that I have the vision of creating, that benefits everyone and creates more of the loving energy that I want to be there, the community-based energy that I want to be present in my community. So I had to really bring to my awareness that resistance around no longer allowing certain things and having it be this way, and kind of implementing these new rules and guidelines and clearing that stuff so that I can then go and take action, and I can then do those things, and I can just move forward with my group the way I want it to be, right? So this is how it's going to show up in many different ways for all of you, depending on what's going on in your life. You might have the intuitive pull to move forward in certain ways, but you've been resisting, you've been procrastinating. Maybe something keeps popping up over and over and over again for you. And it's really interesting because the more that something pops up for you, it keeps being on your mind, it keeps showing up on your feed or whatever, it's usually a message for you to take action on that, or for you to take that into consideration in some way, shape, or form. But people are often resistant, and they don't want to move in that direction. They don't want to heed the guidance. They have unconscious limiting beliefs and fears around that keep them from really being able to move forward with that thing that the universe keeps like putting in their face. Like, here you go, do this. Here you go, move in this direction. Here you go, take this into consideration. And people sometimes, they have that unconscious resistance to really taking that into account and really using that universal guidance to their advantage. So if something has been showing up for you maybe repetitively recently, that's maybe the universe guiding you to your next step. But maybe you have been ignoring it because you have unconscious resistance, because you have all these stories about why you can't, why it's not the right time, or whatever it is, and you've been holding back from it. So that is an opportunity for you to look at, what have you been running away from or avoiding or not stepping into, that the universe keeps asking you to step into, that you feel intuitively pulled to step into? Or what are some different changes and things that you've been feeling it's time to make, but you're feeling resistant, like in the case with me and my community, and implementing some massive changes, because I'm about to revolutionize how online entrepreneurship is done and how we build our businesses. And it's going to be different from how other people have done it. And it might trigger some people, whatever, but I'm moving through my resistance around. I'm like, no, this is what it has to be. I'm a leader and this is what I do. So you have to take notice of how you are being asked to move forward in certain ways, or implement certain changes, or step into a new chapter, into new things, and not and no longer resisting that. Like, another new chapter for me personally is embracing this new stage of my life where my uncle, who recently passed from COVID, and I did a video on this, so you're more than welcome to check that out. I don't know where to point because I always point in the wrong direction. I think it's this way. I'm not sure. There will be a card later for you to click on that video. I did a message around wearing masks during COVID and sharing that experience. I will soon be uploading a video that I did last week when I was processing things and so on around that to share with other people. But I'm embracing this new stage of my life where my relative isn't present, and moving myself through those emotions has been a bit of a challenge, but it got to the point where I had to really ask myself, like, Steph, why does this feel so heavy for you? Why does this keep impacting you? And the universe works in mysterious ways, I swear. It's brilliant the way it works. I ended up reading a chapter in this book that I'm reading, which so happened to that chapter that day where I was feeling these things. It happened to speak on, really coming to terms with the fact that we don't owe anything. We don't own anything. And that because we don't really own anything, because we can never take it with us when we die, to release that attachment, because when we're attached to it, it creates suffering. When we feel like we're going to lose it or we've lost it, when we recognize that we don't need to be attached to it because there's no point in being attached to it. We're free and we're no longer creating that suffering. And that really was important for me to read and to really understand. Like, I'm over here attached to the fact that, my uncle was supposed to be here for a really long time in my mind. And now that he's not here, I'm feeling like I lost that. And I got to understand that my uncle's life wasn't mine to own or to possess. My uncle's life belonged to God, and God decided to call my uncle up, and it was his time, and I gotta accept that. And the more that I can lean into that acceptance and allow that to be, and to trust in that, and to allow it to be fine with me, the less I'll feel sad, and the less I'll feel down, and the more I'll be able to move forward with everything that I'm doing right now and the people that are counting on me. And so that helped me a bit to release that attachment to that loss, that perceived loss, and to actually start embracing more of this new chapter instead of feeling like I lost a potential future with not having this relative and all the special events that we're not going to be able to share now and all the things that we're not going to be able to do anymore. I had to shift that and to embrace more of this new opportunity that I have with my family to experience our relationship in a different way, in a more loving way, in a more united way because of this passing of my relative. I had to embrace this new chapter and to be open to that and to move myself in the direction of that, instead of continuing to focus on that and just creating more resistance inside myself and feeling like crap. So this is, just some examples that I want to share with all of you around how you might be able to experience resistance inside of yourself this week. And when I was able to shift how I viewed that, loss of my uncle, from that place, it made it easier for me to start getting out of that and to no longer resist this new life that I was stepping into, no longer resist this new opportunity, and just no longer continue to feel like crap, and to allow myself to start being happier again, to allow myself to start feeling better, and all these different things. So these are just some examples I wanted to share with all of you. We're all experiencing resistance to the changes that are being brought forward. We can't avoid the changes. The energy is here. It's impacting all of us. Maybe you've been feeling a bit off the last couple of days since the Lionsgate energy or prior to the Lionsgate energy. I know myself, I've definitely had to drink a lot of water because the energy has been really intense. I started getting minor headaches, and I never really get headaches. And I started getting them on the 8th with the Lionsgate energy, and I've been drinking lots of water. So make sure that you are definitely staying adequately hydrated, that you're taking care of yourself, you're resting as needed, because the energy is really powerful. But this energy that's coming in is really pulling away all the old stuff, really upgrading ourselves to really embrace the new that's coming in. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And in order to embrace the new that is coming in, make sure that you're recognizing this week where you are resisting the new. You're resisting moving in the direction of what you say you want. You're resisting being who you really want to be. You're resisting the new chapter, the new phase, the new way of doing things. You're resisting your power, your greatness, your abundance, your worthiness. You're resisting on many different levels. When you feel off inside of your body, something feels heavy, something feels dense, or you're feeling off emotionally, you're feeling sad and heavy and fearful and full of doubt or anxiety or whatever, that's a really great opportunity for you to take a step back to see, hold on a second, what's going on here? How am I perceiving this? What do I think this means? How do I think this is going to impact me? Why do I think this is scary maybe? Why am I afraid of doing this? Whatever. Just ask yourself these kinds of questions to really understand what it is that you have going on inside of you internally that is creating that resistance and is really making this process of stepping into the new more challenging than it needs to be. And when you give yourself the space to do that, and you have to choose to do that for yourself, because I'm not there with you holding your hand, guiding you to be like, hey, take a minute to look into this, or take a few minutes to really look at this and see what that's about and clear it. Like, I'm not there with you. You have to be able to do this for yourself. So the faster that you address that, the faster you'll be able to release that heaviness or whatever it is that's impacting you, or that resistance, to allow yourself to move forward with so much more ease and grace. Does that make sense, everyone? I really hope that that has. Let me pull a quick card to see if there's any additional messages for this reading today. What do we need to know for this week's energy reading? Any other messages? So we got two cards here. This is Kuan Yin and Lady Portia. And Kuan Yin says, care and compassion, choose to be loved, do what is right for everyone involved, offer a helping hand. And Lady Portia says, divine order, do what you feel is right, an important lesson is unfolding. So these two are really connected, because this one says, do what's right for everyone and do what you feel is right, an important lesson is unfolding. So yeah, there's what happens is that sometimes when the care and compassion card, I really feel like that's definitely in regards to your personal well-being this week and taking care of yourself, because the energy has been very powerful, very strong, and you need to take adequate rest and things like that. I myself had to take a minute to meditate earlier and then take like a 40-minute nap to get ready to do this video, because I had a very busy day and just the energy is just so strong. You can't force yourself to do things just for the sake of doing. Okay, so take care of yourself, look after yourself. But in regards to what the cards are saying around doing what's right for everyone, what happens is that I've been noticing as I've been doing the psychic business planning and strategy sessions. This is a new service that I was asked to offer, where I'm sitting down with entrepreneurs for 90 minutes and I'm really just channeling basically like information that they need to know to create a greater level of success and impact with their businesses, and really helping them to start stepping into their soul's purpose more powerfully, and just giving them step-by-step things on, what their next offers are and all that kind of jazz to help them to move forward. And what I've noticed when it comes to this, for example, is that sometimes people resist stepping into their soul's purpose, or we as humans resist moving forward in the direction that we feel called to move in or to do things differently because of our egos. Our egos unconsciously drive us a lot. And so when we, for example, we want to say that we want to make a bigger impact, but then our ego is like, okay, you need to do this to make a bigger impact, and you need to do this and this and this and this, because this is what's going to make you, it's going to help you to reach people and help them and also make lots of money. But maybe how you're going to really make an impact in the world that's significant and what's in alignment with your soul is going in this different direction, that maybe you're not going to make as much money, but it's really what's for your highest good and the highest good of all. And that's what you need to do. That's right for everyone. Does that make sense? And you need to allow yourself to be guided in that direction. But you might resist that. You might resist that path because you feel like going down this path is below you, because you're so used to doing things in this way in a much higher level, making all this money and whatever. And you think that being in this other path is not right, is not in alignment, it's not your way of doing what you're here to do, to reach people. But maybe that's actually what you really need to do, and what's going to not just serve you, but serve other people in this way. And that's what you have to do. That's right. So you have to look at yourself and see why you're resisting going down that path, why you're so attached to maybe the material things, the money things, why you're basing your success off of the material things and money things instead of maybe personal fulfillment and really changing the world in a much greater way beyond just maybe money, that kind of stuff. Or when it comes to regular human things, for anyone who's not a business owner, maybe you feel like you say, okay, I want to create more loving, amazing relationships and have really great communication. And these are maybe some intentions that you've set out to create, and you want to be this kind of person, you want to have these kinds of relationships. But let's say that you have an experience with someone close to you where you feel like they did you dirty. And so your old self is like wanting to ignore them or cut them off or release them or whatever it is. And you're not wanting to talk it out with them. You feel hurt by them, whatever, and you want to walk away. But then, you got to recognize that you set these intentions out to create more of these kinds of relationships, to be more of this kind of person, but yet you're resisting doing that. You're resisting having that open communication. You're resisting talking things out with this person because your ego is so full of hurt and things like that. And that's what you're focused on. That's what is allowing you to, that's what's driving you. And so you're not becoming that version of yourself that you want to be, and you're not creating those relationships that you say you want. So that's an opportunity for you to take a step back, to look at why you're creating this resistance, why you're choosing to give that person the silent treatment or ignore them or cut them off or whatever, what that's really all about. Process that for yourself, and then do what is right for you and for everyone, and move yourself in that direction, right? So those are just some examples of how resistance can show up and play out in our lives. And just this week is really all about doing what we feel is right and true for us and everyone else for the highest good, and just moving ourselves in that direction rather than continue to hold on to old patterns, old ways of doing things, old ways of being, and continuing to stay in that. Like, it's time to let that go and shift more into who we truly are and what we truly desire, and just allowing ourselves to experience that more. So I hope that really has helped you. If you're watching this on YouTube and you enjoyed this video, you enjoyed this message today, please give this video a thumbs up, like wherever you're watching from. I would really appreciate it. It always helps my channel. And if you want to leave me a comment, sharing your thoughts, your insights, your experience from this message, how it supported you, I would really love to hear from you in the comments below. Feel free to share, what you've been going through. If you want support with that, if you just want to share it, I'm always just appreciating and looking forward to having just genuine conversations with everyone that I connect with online. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you enjoyed this reading, so that you can see these readings every Tuesday, and hit the bell button and change your notification settings to all, so that you never miss out on a notification from my channel. I am in the process of uploading videos consistently on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So stay tuned for that. That is part of me embracing the things that I've said I wanted to do and clearing all the crap resistance that keeps me from doing that. So that's what I'm working on here. Hey, Rosanna, how are you, love? I don't know if you're still here, but I appreciate you joining and hanging out with me. Stef is a friend, and she has positive thoughts. Oh, okay. Thank you. Stef is a friend. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for recommending me. I appreciate you. Yes. You're more than welcome to share out this message with whoever you feel would benefit from it on whatever platform you're watching on. Mark, I'm missing some of your comments because I can't see them all. So let me see if I can pull them up this way, because they're not showing up on my phone for whatever reason. And they are on my laptop, but yes, you're more than welcome to share out this message with whoever you feel. Hush. Oh, rats. Okay, I can't really read the comments. Hold on a second. I'm gonna have to move you this way. All right, let's see here. For the comments, I've been noticing white orbs of light in my peripherals is flying through my vision. When I pay attention to them, they disappear. When I'm not paying attention, I can see them, and I've been noticing the number 1155 a lot lately. Yeah, that's cool. It's because the Lionsgate energy is just opening up a lot of energy for us to really be able to see through the veil more easily. So if you're having really interesting psychic experiences like that, then that's probably because of the energy at this time. So, but everyone is starting to open up psychically anyway, because that's just what the energy is supporting people with as we move forward in our process of spiritual ascension. To really growing up in my childhood, the only time I would get attention from my parents is when I was bad. So I got accustomed to getting attention by being bad in life, throwing a temper, getting into fights. And I'm learning how to get attention from being actually good for my highest good, giving of my time to help others out when in need. That's so awesome, Mark. That is so awesome. Good for you for having that level of awareness, because that is so powerful and profound for you to really understand about yourself and to break free from those patterns that weren't making you happy, and for you to be able to cultivate more of the kinds of relationships that you truly desire and that you're worthy of by showing up differently in life. It's so significant. So I'm really happy for you and proud of you for doing that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for your time. I know this was a bit of a long reading, but I really hope that all these examples and the messages that I brought forward really supported you in your journey, your path. And I am making changes to my Facebook community, as I said. So if you're interested in forming part of my amazing community, I don't want to give too many details right now. I think maybe I will upload a video to YouTube on this. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's just going to be a really awesome community for everyone to benefit from. People of all backgrounds, people who have businesses or don't have businesses. And it's just really a place to promote a lot of love, a lot of support, a lot of encouragement, just creating the new earth in this space, and just really being there for one another and supporting each other through this whole process. I can't talk today. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, yeah, so if you're interested in that, I'm actually going to be changing a lot of things up in my community, and there's also going to be a giveaway that I'm doing as part of that. So I'm in the process of getting that together to have the details and everything laid out officially. But if you're interested in that, please let me know in the comments below, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, so that when this landing page is ready for you to like put your information in and participate in this giveaway, then yeah, I can like drop this link and reply to you wherever you're watching from, and I can be like, hey, to sign up for this officially, like click on this and then follow the rules or the things. What are the things? Not rules, but like requirements, the requirements to participate for the giveaway. So I'm giving away a 90-minute psychic business planning and strategy session. They're very powerful and so informative, and just so much information that really benefits you for the next 4 to 6 weeks in your business, and really sets you up for success and brings you into alignment with your soul, so that you're able to do things that are actually going to move you forward, rather than you unconsciously doing things that are really just not gonna get you results in the end. So that's what I'm giving away, one of those, and 2 30-minute psychic guidance sessions with me. So those are the prizes for this giveaway. So if that interests you and you're still watching this video up until this point and you've learned about this, then let me know that you're interested in this by typing in the comments below this video, like, I would like more details about the giveaway, something like that. And then when that landing page is ready, I will respond and I'll send you the link for you to sign up and be a part of that. And that's what we're implementing. And you do have to be on Facebook, though, to be part of my Facebook community to participate in this. So I know some people are not on Facebook, but maybe one day you'll be on Facebook. You should be on Facebook for my community because my community is awesome. I know some people don't like it because of all the drama that sometimes happens on Facebook, but Facebook is what you make of it. And Facebook can be really awesome. So that is what I do. Taking care of a blind cat that has given me a new perspective on life. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's amazing. I'm glad to hear that, Mark. Talking about what I needed to hear in this moment in time and space. Yay, awesome. Yeah. Life is about expanding your consciousness and your perspective and coming back to more of who you truly are. So it's been very powerful for me as well, experiencing the loss of a loved one for the first time and having just a different perspective on life because of that, and relating to more people because of that experience. So yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate all of you. Hope you're having a great start to your week. I send you all so much love. Take it easy this week with the energy, rest, put back into yourself. This was a really long reading, but I appreciate you. If you're still watching till the very end, you are the real MVPs. And I will see you all soon. Take care. Bye bye, everyone.